Hey guys, Dr. Berg here. In this short video, we're going to show you two different simple home tests that you can do for adrenal fatigue. And all you need is a flashlight, okay? So number one, the holding your breath test. Now, one good indication of adrenal fatigue is the ability to hold your breath for long periods of time. If you can't, you probably have an adrenal issue because the oxygen in your lungs is connected to the adrenals. And so if you have really good adrenals, you can hold your breath for like a minute or longer. There's a guy who came in my office who is 80 years old, okay? He had the best adrenals I've ever seen in my life. He can heal real fast, and I have a machine that measures the adrenals, and he had a perfect score. So I asked him, what did he do his whole life? Well, he took first place in the Olympics when he was like 20 years old for water polo, and he was able to hold his breath for at least 3 to 4 minutes. So he can actually hold his breath now for 3 minutes underneath the water. So his adrenals are really tough. You have adrenal case, they're huffing and puffing upstairs, they run out of air real quick, they cannot hold their breath. So that's the first test, okay? Okay, so number two is the iris test. Now what is the iris? The iris is kind of like the aperture of the eye. Now what is an aperture? Aperture is just an opening in the camera that allows the light to go in at a certain level. So this is the same thing. So if there's a real bright light, the iris contracts and constricts the amount of light going into the eye because it might be too harmful. If it's dark out, it actually is very, very open. Okay, so it controls the light. So if I'm going to shine a light into the eye, okay, like this, this thing normally should contract. Now, what's controlling that is something called the autonomic nervous system or the sympathetic nervous system. What is that? That's the part of the nervous system that is intimately involved with flight or fight in the adrenal. So the adrenals control that. Part of the other parts of the body control it, but the adrenal gland is also involved. So if there's a weakness with the adrenal and you shine a light into the eye, what will happen? It'll contract, it'll constrict, but it will not maintain that constriction. So it might kind of hold it for about 5 seconds or 10 seconds and it starts going, it actually fluctuates. It kind of comes open and closed because it cannot hold that constriction. So if you can hold that constriction and keep this thing constricted for like at least a minute, then your adrenals are good. So it's a real simple test. So in this next part, I'll show you exactly, I'll do a little demo of how to do it. Okay guys, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to shine a light into the eye. And if you see the little black part in the center, that's the pupil. Okay, that's the hole right into the eye. And then the outer part, which is kind of the colored part, that's called the iris. That's contracting, constricting, and relaxing. So when that contracts, it makes the pupil, the little center part, get smaller or larger depending on what's happening. Okay, so when you shine light in there, normally the iris, the outer part, is supposed to contract and hold that position for at least 1 to 2 minutes. So if that contraction cannot occur, that means the adrenal glands are weak, and you'll start seeing the pupil get bigger and small like a wave, like it will not be able to maintain a very tight contraction. Okay, so you can just do this in the mirror. Look into the mirror, shine the light into the eye. The small little pupil should get smaller and maintain that smallness by keeping the light held steady. If it starts to get weak and start to open up, which a lot of times it will within about, 10 to 15 seconds, then we know the adrenals are weak because the entire nervous system that controls that is weak. Okay guys, so now that you have a way to figure out your adrenals, and the question is what do you do about it, there's a great little kit that I have to help the adrenal glands. So I put the link below. Check it out if you want some help. Thanks for watching.